gold in the rock, and also the vein structure characteristics change. So above you guys here is water course, just like it is behind me. On the other side of that stope over there behind that timber, you notice it turns purple. That's fluorite. Just below that it turns green as tellurium, and down here it turns back into another water course vein structure. So it's all part of the same system here. So we're over here, it was over an ounce of gold with a ton of rock. Over there it's only about a half an ounce of gold with a ton of rock, and that was in just various locations. So that's why assaying is important. Every round that you pull from underground, it doesn't matter if you're cross-cutting or drifting, if you think you're on an ore body or not, everything gets assayed. Because you can go through an ore body and never even know it was there. Any questions?
Pretty cool.
Let's head on down this way here, folks.
A lot of that down here.
Going that
A
part?
lot of that salt.
Oh, yeah.
Bad down here, ain't it? How deep are we right now?
What now?
How deep are we right now?
We're still at 1,000.
Are we? That's a pressure tank, ain't it?
That's actually a locomotive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't stop there and show it to you. Up there where I'm gonna stop is another one.
Right on.
There's no reason to explain the same thing 3 times.
I agree. There's a chute. See it?
Come on in here, folks. Don't be bashful. I don't bite. If I do, my teeth come out anyway. You guys notice the different colors on the backs and the ribs? Anybody know what that green is?
Iron. Oh, the green. Copper.
Copper. Your hires just start tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I got 4 new hands now. Who's gonna handle the first misfire?
Right.
No, the green is copper, the rest is iron sulfate or copper sulfate. This comes from a vein structure that was above us at one time. It's since been mined out, but it's a really good indicator in old sections of mines that there's a vein structure somewhere. So how we know that it's been mined out is that chute and that timber work you see right there above that ore car. Pretty simple to know that it's been mined out at that point. So if it hadn't been mined out and we came in here and saw this, we'd come in with that long column drill, and this is where we'd use that column drill, so we're not having to mine in a whole bunch of different directions. We're just trying to figure out roughly where that vein structure is. Now, this one has been mined out, and this is a different type of stope mining. This is that chute stope mining I was telling you about. We're mining up on an angle. We use that angle to our advantage where we create a chute on one side, the chute compartment. That's how we control the rock after blast. We build a bulkhead up there above our heading, and that forces all that rock after that blast to come down that chute, and gravity obviously brings it down here. We build gates in these chutes, just wooden gates that we can pry open with our pickle bars and then let gravity fill the ore car. In the other compartment, you can't really see it well from here, but on the other side of that chute, it's a man-weight compartment, a series of ladders and a tool chute, and that's how we get to work. So, pretty simple idea. Now this is chute 2 to the Queen Bess stope system. We're going to stand underneath chute 1. This stope that we're standing underneath, obviously you can't see it, goes clear up to the 200-foot level of this mine. It's mined out for that 800 feet. It hasn't been mined out any lower than here because this is our claim boundary right here. So we can't go past that claim boundary. How we know what our claim boundary is off of our shaft. We do our underground surveying by string line and by angles and stuff like that. That way we can figure out roughly where our claim boundary is. Nothing's really an exact science. So one surveyor came down here. He thinks that the claim boundaries are here. Now from the surveying work that I've done, I think the claim boundary's here. Even to be that close off string lines, halfway decent. Right. It happens, it's mining. There's no exact
We're talking
science.
this away.
Yeah. So most likely it's
Either way,
so.
Well, we could do
Nobody's
5
been
foot.
complaining about the survey being wrong yet.
What are you gonna do about it? Glue it back together?
Right.
So, and that happens in mining all the time, especially underground mining. Surveying is not an exact science, even with the new layers and stuff like that they use. A lot of the newer hands are using, there's no perfect way of doing it, so.
But not.
You get as close as you possibly can and measure everything 3 or 4 times and go off of what there is, so.
Got train above us?
So do what now?
Got train above us?
No, the train's coming at us, but we don't have to worry about it, there's no traction,
Yeah,
so.
we're good.
So, any questions, folks?
No.
Let's head down this way here, I'll show you what we drill out with the stove. Ready to stop? Stop.
One more click.
So, both these machines you see here are stoker drills that we used to mine up with. That one over there is obviously the older one. This is known as a wiggle tail drill. This is just a glorified jackhammer with an air leg on bolted on the bottom, and will keep the pressure on that bit so you can drill up with it. You have to wiggle it back and forth to drill out your hole with this machine. It's also known as a Widowmaker drill because it has no water going through the steel bit. As a miner, you end up breaking loose the dust with that machine. You breathe that dust for too long, you end up with miner's lung or rock lung. A lot of people know it's silicosis. If you ended up with the miner's lung during the turn of the century, you'd roughly be expected to live till 30. The last few years of your life, you'd be coughing up blood along parts of your lungs, roughly about the size of a dime. Now, silicosis or that rock lung is kind of the thing of the past for us. Obviously, we still have to worry about dust, but we use water to help control the dust down here. All of our drills have water going into them for that exact reason. When we muck out or anything like that, we water our face down. That also lets us see if there's any live explosives in the ground. It keeps the dust down also when we're mucking. So water is pretty important to us. Get them off of jack tanks like you see there, and there's another one right here. You fill that with water, pressurize it with air, and forces the water out of that tank. It'll come through a hose into the drill. It'll go through the drill, which helps keep the machine cool, and goes through the center of the drill still, and then let it hit. To make sure that dust doesn't count as much, sorry. Or you can just use a hose and let the water down your muck pile. Now this is what we're using today. This is a Model 63 Gardner Denver stoker drill. This one weighs a lot less than that jackknife drill I showed you. Same type of air leg on the bottom, 6-foot drill still, and the machine's bolted directly up. Same idea, you're gonna drill straight into the rock. Now I'm gonna show you how this machine works here. It is extremely loud, so I do suggest you put your ears in, folks.
I like the sound.
Any questions? That's the loudest machine. It gets quieter from now. Not much quieter.
You definitely, after a shift of work, after running that.
We're already deaf, so we're used to it. Most of us are deaf, to be quite honest with you. I'm deaf in this area, a lot of miners are, because that machine is on that side of it. So, all your right-handed miners are that way, left-handed miners are obviously on this side, so.
A lot of your truck drivers are deaf in their left ear because they always drive with the window down. Goes in the
Makes sense.
first eardrum.
I like being deaf in this area, so when I'm driving, I don't have to worry about what my wife's saying. She already knows, trust me, you can tell her. She just leans over around and looks at me, oh, you're saying something. Then she starts throwing stuff at me, I don't get it. I'm gonna have you folks gather against this rib over here for me, you can kind of gather the zinc behind this machine a bit so you guys can see what's going on here.
Oh, there's more sheep.
Alright, kind of gather in here a bit more and look up.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
This is the other side of the Queen Bess stope system. This is that stope I was telling you goes clear up to the 800 or 200 foot level. So it forms a large V above us, if you will, kind of a backwards V. If you shoot one, we were over there by shoot two. The reason you would do something like this is so you can move more muck out of a bigger area. You can keep your muck trains moving this way. So it's pretty common on that chute side where you shoot a miner in. You'd have roughly about 20 foot of rock built up right there above your chute. That way you can always keep your muck trains rolling. So you got two different compartments, those large stole timbers there. So the same thing, it's not for support of the mine, that's for support of timber. You see where those nails are pulled through. Normally we'd have 2x3 timbers hanging all the way up there, dividing those two different compartments, so it'd be a solid wall. So this side here is the manway, the other side is obviously the muck side. You can see the vein structure right there, that fluorite. It's been oxidized, so it's not near as crisp as it used to be, but you can still somewhat see it. And folks, you also got to remember the only light I work with is this lamp that I'm carrying with me. We're up there for 8 hours in lighting conditions, just like you see. Any questions? You guys think I'm crazy now, don't you?
No. Amazing.
We're going to take a ride on this man trip here, so go ahead and say what you guys please do. Marvelous thing.
You guys are great. Right? Hold on tight.
That's right. You guys have all seen Looney Tunes, right? Oh, I'm not on that meeting. What you guys are sitting on is called a man trip. We get a ride on one of these man trips. We have to go over a mile or better to get to the heading we'd be working in. Switch around by this Tranmere locomotive. The Tranmere were invented here in this district for this district. Now each camp kind of has their own different version of these Tranmere locomotives. They have side rods that look more like a steam locomotive. We're here as you kind of put together parts and different mining equipment. A couple of miners got tired of pushing those 1-ton ore cars by hand underground when they took the donkeys away from them. They took the donkeys away by making it illegal to have livestock underground. They just built a couple pieces of iron. They're off one of those Imco 12-feet bunkers that I showed you guys earlier. Wrap the chain between that and the axles. Strap the tank for a reservoir for air. Now you can move your muck trains. They went into business for themselves, building these simple little things. This bigger one here, you can push up to about 15 tons with. That big one that we passed a little bit earlier, you can only push up to about 5 tons. They're still pretty powerful units. Go about 1,000 foot on one charge. So, folks, I do have to remind you here real quick, this is not Disneyland. We are going to get extremely close to the river here on occasion, folks. Anything you want attached to your body, you want to keep inside the man trip. I hate to be calling anybody stubby, but anyway.
Let's go.
All righty, we're off like a herd of turtles.
Keep your hands on, Hadley.
All right, folks, that was right on the man trip. Sure hope you
I don't think we're all gonna fit on that thing.
I greased the rails on a guy, watch your step.
Okay,
By the way.
thank you.
I greased the rails on a guy one day being a smart aleck right through here.
Oh, shit.
Over there, where the grease the top of it. He comes screaming in here, that was the old tram, not this big one here. He comes screaming in here, and that thing used to boogie. And so I had that bicycle, and I set it right here on purpose. He'd come in here and smack him in it. He cussed me for it.
I bet he did.
That's the joy about being a maintenance guy, you play all the dirty tricks.
That's funny.
I'm gonna send this machine back on its way here, so if everybody's clear of it, I'm gonna get caught up in it here. Pretty obvious what this is here, our fuel room now. Fuel rooms underground, you're gonna have one on every level, pretty central to that level of the mine. That way you can get to it rapidly. Now you can have fuel rooms as small as what you see here, and very massive underground fuel rooms with overhead cranes and everything else, lasing machines and everything that you would need. The reason you have the fuel room, anything to get worked on, gets worked on down here. So once it comes down here, it usually comes down here in parts where it gets reassembled. That way it will continuous life down here. Any maintenance usually on that stuff happens down here. Very rarely do we take it to the surface to get worked on. It has to be something extremely major for it to happen. It's also essential to the mine. It's important that way because if there's an accident underground, everybody knows to head towards the tool room. The reason being, is this is where all the medical supplies are gonna be. This is where your food, your water, and everything's gonna be. In case something does happen, it's also where your phone is. You see that phone hanging on that timber there, the way you can get to the surface to talk to tell what's going on. Any questions? Head down that way there to them iron gates. Whoever gets there first, feel free to open them and walk on into that room there.
What's the deal with it?
Underground hoist. So it's an electric hoist, that's the control box for it.
Oh, wow.
So that's your bull gear and brake, it's a bell brake, and that's the drum for it. This is for sinking shaft. So that's an old hoist. This hoist was built in the 40s, and we took it apart about 3 years ago.
Man, I tell you, the things they could do back then is amazing.
Isn't it though? You wouldn't believe it, but I still use that damn thing.
Oh, drill press?
Yeah.
Really?
It's a little stiff right now.
Oh, wow. Heck, yeah. Well, that
Pretty good.
took an arm.
Well, there's long days down here.
Yeah, I bet. Right?
When I have electricity too, usually I just bring the drill down here.
Right.
This the lowest level then,
Yeah, for this line.
for this mine? How many different, tunnels are there above us?
Just 4. We're on the, will be the 5th level, if you will.
Okay.
So there's the 200, the 400, 6 to 7, and here's others. You know what that is, don't you?
What is that?
Yellow cake.
Yellow cake? What is it really?
Sulfur.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just sulfur mud.
Oh, wow. Does it smell like sulfur?
Not really.
No.
It's
I'm
just
sorry.
annoying to
Didn't mean to step on you, man.
You guys still mining this mine then? Or still mining gold out of this mine?
Oh, here and there, isn't it? So, I mean, it's not like we're a productive line by any means.
Yeah.
So, we do a lot of work around here, but not really for production. Now, if you guys look at the different mines here, this is just a small version of it. There used to be 500 different working mines in the camp at one time. All of them connect underground, which makes for the better part of 4,000 miles of underground working here in this camp. So they all connect, a lot of it's for ventilation, a lot of it was done by accident, the other part of it's a really good escape route for us, if something did happen to happen. It all started up there on that flag you see above you, that was the first 3 mines here in the camp. The very first mine, the Bob Womack's mine, which is a gold key mine. Everybody called him Crazy Bob because he walked that gold to see there for the better part of 10 years trying to find an outcropping in gold ore. When he didn't find his outcropping in gold ore, he stayed the place of the Gold King mine. 3 days later, he went on drinking free down to Colorado City to celebrate. Sold that mine for $500 a case of whiskey that I paid him in 1909. First year of production, that mine produced over $10,000 worth of gold ore, and that some gold was only $18 an ounce. I gotta be flat honest with you here, folks. I'm on Bob Womack. That $500 in a case of whiskey just sounds a lot funner.
Exactly.
The second mine in the district was the COD mine, which was owned by Spencer Penrose. Now, Spencer Penrose started his mine with $150 that he borrowed from his brother. Paid his brother back within a year, well over $1,000. That mine also funded the building of the Pikes Peak Cog Railway and the Broadmoor Hotel. And a pretty rich strike. That mine still to this day is only 350 foot deep.
Really?
So, pretty good little strike right there.
Yeah.
Third mine in the district was Mollie Kathleen's mine. She's also the first one to discover gold ore here in the camp. As the story goes, she's walking up that hillside outside, seeing more or less out following a herd of elk. She sat down to rest for a little bit, and when she did, she found an outcropping of gold ore. Not knowing what it was, she broke it off, showed it to her husband. Kind of assuming at that point her husband probably said, "I love you." Look back behind us over here in the second display. You gotta know the Crescent mine, one of the more famous mines here in the camp. On level 12 of the Crescent, they broke into a vug. Now, a vug is just like a geode. This vug is 3 times the size of this room we're standing in right now. Inside of it was nothing but collaborite crystals. The gold was 90% pure, went straight to the man up in Denver. At $20 an ounce back then, they took over $2 million out of that vug. If we'd have found that today, gold prices being what they were, we'd taken well over $20 million out of it. Sounds like a good old mining tale, doesn't it? Something someone came up with in the bar.
Be all right.
So, the low-grade ore was given to some of the miners that were allowed to work that vug. They literally put iron gates on both sides of it and only let certain people into that vug to mine it, and they put guards on it too. 2 of the miners that were allowed to work that vug, you see over there, Jeff Fay and Paul Anderson. I'm actually related to Jeff Fay. Was able to get some of the ore out of it that was given to him. This is low-grade ore that came out of that vug structure. And when I say low-grade ore, it was 10 ounces and less is what they considered low-grade ore. Normally, it was low-grade ore to us is an ounce and less. Doesn't look like much there, does it? Looks like just a piece of granite. The only time in this camp that we've ever found free gold, and this is what it looks like when you put your light on it.
Wow.
I'll be back when you guys can take a gander at it.
Look, there's your gold.
Any questions? No? You guys wanna take some rocks home? Not the ones.
Just some gold.
You got the right idea. Flip her open, bud. So this is ore that came from this mine and different little headings we work in the winter time. So this is basically what we mine for nowadays. You guys get to take the rock out for us, so. I'm gonna give you guys a chunk of ore here to come out of this mine. As I do, I'll get you together by that next set iron gate over there and move on to our next display. Oh, myself over here. That's right.
Yeah, not bad.
I know this must be bad, but I can live with it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
Feels good,
If you want,
don't it?
you can have it. I know better. You get one, buddy? Uh-oh.
Electricity's going on.
Yeah,
Everybody get the candles out.
that's right.
There's a nice one.
Keep it. Well, I mean,
I went
one
up,
less rock I gotta deal with.
I was up there digging through that orc thing up there all day, a couple days ago.
Oh, was you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Here's one got fluoride on it. The purple in it. Everybody get one or two?
I got
Get
it.
one?
What do you do, dig for the best looking one that's got a lot of gold in it, or?
It's something to look at. I'm looking for the colors, like that one's got fluoride in it.
Okay.
One less rock I gotta deal with. This one's got that kind of rust color to it, but it's reddish, it's Cinnabore. This came out of the Hammond, George Hammond. So some of this stuff is a lot of iron pyrite in it. Most of the iron pyrite came out of that section of the mine close to the silver vein. So, just stuff like that. Everybody got one? Bunch of fenders? Alright, any questions, folks? Alright, you guys walk down that drift up there against that cage if you want to, and get up there and drop that thing, but gather up there on that thing, we'll just be on this.
I'm talking to him. So what's it called to get the gold out of the rock?
Roasting.
Roasting?
You gotta roast the ore.
So you don't have a chemical you have to mix with it or nothing like that, or?
Not that way you don't. So the other way is the cyanide, the heap leach process, but that only works with low grade ores.
Really?
So the high grade ores and stuff like that, usually anything an ounce and above has to be roasted, ball milled and whatnot.
Right.
So,
So when you call roasting, you mean cooking it?
yeah, heat it up to 1800 degrees and gold actually forces itself out of the rock. That temperature, then you crush that rock, have it breaks it away from it. And then you float everything, okay, you pulverize it together, then you float the gold out of the float cell. That's where you
When it comes out.
You pull the froth off the float cell, then you reheat it.